Howdy everybody, how y'all doing? Well, today I want to take a few minutes to talk to you about toys. That's right, those wonderful little things made of plastic or metal. You know, those whether they came in a Happy Meal or if it's something that you saw in the Saturday morning cartoons that you begged your parents for over and over and over until they finally gave it to you, or they waited till your birthday and Christmas. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. The toys, like the G.I. Joe, the X-Men, you know, the Barbie, Star Wars, the He-Man. You know, it's kind of impressive the way that Lego's kind of picked up on this over the years. And unfortunately, they're more expensive than they used to be. But man, the way Legos and their universal brick system, and then you've got all the comic books and all the stuff, and everything is the same scale and works together. Or you could just buy them all and make your own. I mean, Lego's where it's at, right? For big and little kids alike. I mean, it's pretty common knowledge now that back in the 80s and 90s, you know, the previous generation, when they were kids who are now adults and up there running things and trying to create new IPs and new ideas. Well, when they were growing up, they were immersed in a whole concept of creating toy lines that used comic books and cartoons and TV shows to sell, right? So, to create a story that's so immersive that, you know, when the commercial shows that your favorite character now has an action figure, well, the next thing you want to do is get that action figure in your home and recreate stories with your own action figures from that show. Or you could do some cool crossovers like Batman and Scooby-Doo, which is also actually an animated feature, if you didn't know. So, the whole creating something for kids that they make their parents want to buy it for them, and then you also have shows that, you know, families can get behind and say, okay, this is okay for my kid to watch. And you know, some of them had, you know, themes that weren't watered down or sugared for kids, but they didn't throw everything at you, right? They kind of implied some of the bigger details and some of the real life issues without delving so much into it that a kid could enjoy, but as they grow up, they can kind of appreciate some of the bigger world issues that were going on at the time that these writers were influenced by. And it's pretty cool to do, right? So, here's the question, right? Where did we lose the magic? Because I remember, you know, I still actually have some my G.I. Joes, my X-Men. And there's a show called Mask that had these transforming vehicles. They're kind of like mecha. There's the Exo Squad that had these cool little exoskeleton suits. They were little mecha. You know, I love robots. And if you hadn't figured out by now or didn't know yet, I'm a huge fan of Gundam and building Gunpla models, but I didn't get into that till like 5 or 6 years ago as an adult. But I will say, I think that Japan has had this around for like, 40, almost 45 years, if not more. So the Gundam franchise, they started off with a TV show. You know, it was pretty heavy for what it was. And then they created models, right? And over the last 40 plus years, they have made those models better and better and better. So now you have, you know, a Gundam Build World Championship, right? So people from all around the globe who may not actually watch the show are using their models from their kits, from their series, to make custom models and compete with other people. That's a really cool legacy, and that's still going on today. Now, in I know there's a lot of other people, especially in the West, we were talking about how the last few years of how the manga and the anime are kind of taking over for Western comics and animated shows. And you can see the direction that, some of our favorite, like Batman and some other people, some of the DC stuff and Marvel stuff in the last decade or so has taken a little bit of a turn. Kind of super saturated the market in a way. Like I said, you're now seeing those comics and those toys just sitting on the shelf, but you've got all this anime that's become more prevalent over here in the last few decades. More of those figures, more of those toys are showing up all the places that you used to not see them, right? So let's face it, it's not that people don't want to collect toys or have a high valuable collectible or figure model from the the IP or the franchise that they follow or really love. They don't seem to want to see the new iterations that seem to take away from the versions that they loved. I mean, there's also a whole bunch of third-party companies that are making likenesses like the old versions that people loved, as opposed to the new revamped likeness, for the versions for modern audiences that people aren't as much interested in. So, I think that documentary got it right when they called it The Toys That Made Us, because honestly, there's a pretty big correlation between all those toys and all the IPs and franchises that are trying to rehash and rebuild and restart in the last decade or so because of, the empire that they built. But like I said, I think they've lost the magic. So I would love to see it come back, and I'd love to see some of these beloved characters get really cool toys and really cool collectibles once again. Oh yeah, and I almost forgot the Ninja Turtles, but I will not, because those guys are really cool as well, right? And they're getting some revamps too. So all I'm saying is, love what you love, collect what you want, and follow the toys, because that's where the fun and the imagination never stops. Well, if you guys have any thoughts or have any toys or figures that you collect, or maybe they're kind of off the beaten path or hard to get, or anything you think would be worth for me looking into, just drop them down in the comments. If you want to leave a like or subscribe, if I think I earned it, well, you can do that too. So, until next time, see you later. Bye!